Black people being called monkey has a long, dark, and brutal history. Recently, Romania recalled its ambassador to Kenya after the diplomat made a comment equating Africans to monkeys at a meeting in Nairobi. But this is not an isolated case. Some prominent figures slip up and call Africans or black people monkeys. So you might wonder, why are black people called monkeys? When has this started? And what should be done about this problem? This is the origin and history of black people being called monkeys. We need to go back hundreds of years, when Plato quoted Heraclitus, where he declared apes ugly in relation to human beings. The fathers of the church went one step further. Saint Gregory of Nazianzus and Saint Isidore of Seville compared pagans to monkeys. In the Middle Ages, Christian discourse recognized simians as devilish figures and representatives of lustful and sinful behavior. Simians are just primates that contain all animals that we traditionally call monkeys and apes. Women were subjected to a similar defamation. In the 11th century, Cardinal Peter Damian gave an account of a monkey that was the lover of a countess from Liguria. The jealous simian killed her husband and fathered her child. Several centuries later, in 1633, John Donne, in his Metamorphoses, even let one of Adam's daughters be seduced by an ape in a sexual affair. From that point onwards, the sexist manifestation of simianization was intimately intertwined with its racist dimension. Jean Bodin, in his Theory of Sovereignty, had described the sexual intercourse of animals and humans to Africa. He characterized the region as a hotbed of monsters arising from the sexual union of humans and animals. The history of a narrative by Antonio de Torquemada. In this process, Africans became demonized and the demons became racialized. A century onward, and Europe has entered great philosophical thought, the period of John Locke. In the following centuries, simianization would enter into different sciences and humanities, anthropology, biology, even theology, you name it. This idea was also popularized by everyday entertainment, the highly successful classic of Hollywood's horror factory, King Kong. At the time of King Kong's production, the public in the United States was dealing with a rape trial. The Scottsboro Boys were 9 black teenagers accused of having raped 2 young white women. In 1935, a picture story was published, dubbed Scottsboro, Alabama. One of the images showed the group of accused young men besides a newspaper with the headline, Guilty Rape. Of course, America was an extremely racist society back then. Africa is labeled as a contagious continent, incubating all sorts of diseases spread by reckless and sexually unrestrained people. HIV, in particular, is said to have its origin in the careless dealings of Africans with simians, which they eat or whose blood they use. For slavery to work, black people needed to be dehumanized at a level that they could just be objects and not people. They wanted to detach black people from people, so calling them animals was just the best thing to do. This theory was further carried on by science. European naturalists such as Carl Linnaeus developed taxonomies, ordering the European scientific world by classifying different species of humans. This converged with Peter Chambers' work on physiognomy, a pseudoscience using the shape and size of the head, face, and brain to determine the character and intelligence of a human. This also added onto by Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. Understanding this history is important because it explains why and how anti-blackness have come to be. The European press popularized these ideas with editorial comics that represented groups of people as animals. And it's those monkeys that we now find in children's books, movies, and so on. Although you can argue that the movies have no racial intention, I will not disagree with that, but the history shows otherwise. In the modern world, there are many examples of people making racist jokes about black people and calling them apes. The depiction of black people as apes was promoted by slave traders, historians, practitioners of quote-unquote scientific racism, was used to justify slavery, lynching, and the creation of the Jim Crow state. Sitcom star Roseanne Barr apologized for her racist tweet about Valerie Jarrett, in which she says the former Obama administration advisor is a product of the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. Roseanne initially seemed to defend her comments, saying it's a joke, and adding Muslims are not a race. Shortly after, however, she tweeted, "I apologize, I am leaving Twitter." And then she went on to say, "I apologize to Valerie Jarrett and to all Americans. I am truly sorry for making a bad joke about her politics and her looks. I should have known better. Forgive me, my joke was in bad taste." Danny Baker of the BBC has also been fired after he made racist mockery of black people. Danny tweeted out a black and white picture of a chimpanzee dressed up in a suit sandwiched between two quote-unquote parents with the caption, "Royal baby leaves the hospital." This racist joke was directed towards a member of the royal family, at Meghan Markle. Danny insisted that his tweet was not racist. Meanwhile, in Russia, a video of an African foreign student has appeared where he was given a banana by some Russians and they called him monkey in the video. A chief rabbi in Israel also referred to black people as monkeys. However, he defended himself by saying that the word has multiple meaning and it is not necessarily an evil word. Recently, Tunisia has also seen a wave of racist attack towards its black, mostly migrant population, racially abusing them, throwing stones at them, and calling them monkeys in the process. South Africa is a country where white people and black people live side by side. After colonization and racism of South Africa, the country had a long period of segregation known as apartheid. After the end of apartheid, black people and white people live side by side in the country to this day. However, a Facebook post was made describing black people as monkeys, and this ignited a debate over the legacy of racism in the country. Just recently, the FBI investigates 17 officers of North Carolina who called black people monkeys and gorillas in a series of disgusting texts, including threatening to shoot the city's black mayor. Now we get to the person that inspired today's video. The Romanian ambassador was recalled back to his home country when he was making remarks in Kenya and he referred to black people as monkeys. The Romanian foreign minister said, "Any racist behavior or comments are absolutely unacceptable," the foreign ministry said in Bucharest. They recalled their ambassador, Dragos Viorel Tigau, from his post in Kenya. The ministry indicated that they deeply regret this situation and apologize to all those affected and strongly rejects and condemns any behavior and any attitude incompatible with mutual respect. The move came in reaction to allegations that Tigau said that the African group has joined us after a black monkey appeared in the window of the conference room ahead of the meeting. The incident took place in the Kenyan capital of Nairobi, in the United Nations building. The Romanian Foreign Ministry said that it had only been informed of the incident not too long after the comments were allegedly made. Tigau was recalled as soon as the government found out about it. These are just some examples. However, the disgusting remarks of racists has been made towards African people for a very long time, and it still persists today, especially with the age of social media. Some people argue that societal response to black people being called monkeys is overwhelming. In one example, critics say that monkeypox is a racist name, suggesting that the disease's name should be changed from monkeypox to something else. Other critics, on the other hand, think that this is far-reaching. H&M also got in hot water when they released their so-called H&M ad featuring a black child wearing a hoodie that reads, "The coolest monkey in the jungle." They received severe backlash for the ad. H&M issued an apology and said that they sincerely apologize for the image. It has been now removed from all the online channels and the product will not be for sale in the United States. Now, let us address the elephant in the room. Will black people always be racially abused? Will the Western governments and other governments around the world sit and allow the abuse of black people? Will you sit and allow black people to be racially abused, or will you call it out if it happens? After the enslavement and racial discrimination of black people coupled with colonialism, when will it be enough? How much racism is too much? What can you do to play your part? When will it end? These are all important questions. I do not think racism and hatred will ever be abolished, but we can all play our part in calling it out if we see it.